Bonjour à tous, welcome back to Lingoni French. I hope that you're doing well. C'est un plaisir de vous retrouver pour la leçon du jour dans laquelle je vais vous parler des pléonasmes. Les pléonasmes en français, bien sûr. Que sont les pléonasmes? Qu'est-ce qu'un pléonasme en général? C'est une redondance dans votre discours quand vous allez parler. Une redondance, une répétition qui n'a pas lieu d'être. Et cette répétition, vous la faites en mettant 2 éléments côte à côte qui sont trop proches, d'un point de vue du sens. Leurs définitions sont trop proches pour être mis côte à côte. C'est pour ça que vous créez une redondance, une répétition et ensuite une erreur de français. Concrètement, qu'est-ce qu'un pléonasme, Alicia? Un exemple, s'il vous plaît. J'arrive. Pour cet été, so listen to this sentence and try to see where is my pleonasm? Where is my répétition? Where are the two words that are way too close, like meaning-wise, to be put together? Pour cet été, on a 2 alternatives. Bali ou Cuba. Pour cet été, on a 2 alternatives. Bali ou Cuba. C'est faux, donc cette phrase est fausse, parce que j'ai dit 2 fois la même chose. 2 alternatives. Par définition, une alternative, c'est 2 choix. Une alter comes from the Latin root, Latin words, which mean other, otro, une autre. So it means two. J'ai une alternative, 2 choices. Si j'ai 2 alternatives, j'ai twice 2 choices. Why not? But that's not what you mean. Okay? Donc j'ai une alternative, or j'ai 2 choix, 2 options, 2 possibilités. That's fine, that's fine. But 2 alternatives sounds nice, is not nice. Je continue. Tu peux monter en haut chercher mon sac à main, s'il te plaît? So, tu peux monter, by definition. Monter, in English you have the idea. Monter is to go up, no? To go up or to go upstairs. Monter en haut. Yeah. Okay. So it's like if you tell me in English, could you go up upstairs or upstairs up to pick up my handbag? It's just a bit too much. Tu peux monter pour aller chercher mon sac à main. Or, tu peux aller en haut. That's fine. Tu peux aller en haut. But tu peux monter en haut. Repetitive. Pléonasme. 2 mots, 2 expressions trop proches pour être à côté. More. Les enfants sont descendus en bas, of course. If you do the mistake on one side, you can do it on the other side. So tu montes en haut, tu descends en bas. Non. Descendre, to go downstairs. So again, qu'est-ce que j'ai dit? Les enfants sont descendus en bas. Donc, the kids went downstairs, down. Down. It's just a bit too much. Like, les enfants sont descendus? Yeah. Les enfants sont allés en bas? Yeah. Les enfants sont descendus en bas? Too much. Sortir dehors? Ok. Donc, tu dois sortir dehors pour fumer. Tu dois aller dehors? Or, tu dois sortir. But you must go outside. It's like in case. You must go out, fine. Outside. Yeah, I got that. Pour fumer. Mais en français, certains de ces pléonasmes, and I will tell you now, are meant to be more accurate. You think when you say it that you're a bit professional here. You're a bit accurate. You nailed it. Not at all, but that's what you think. So that's fun. For example, au jour d'aujourd'hui, this one is fantastic. Au jour d'aujourd'hui is something you can even read. We became accepted, and it's such a big mistake. Already because aujourd'hui en français, today, is a bit heavy. We kept, again, the Latin root, so it's like aujourd'hui literally means on the day of today. Clear enough, I think. So when you say au jour d'aujourd'hui, God knows why we started to say that, it means on the day of today, which is heavy, heavy, heavy. Yeah. But like the sound of it, au jour d'aujourd'hui, oh, sounds cute. Like a bit professional au jour d'aujourd'hui. Completely wrong. But it's good to know. It's good. It's like incessamment sous peu. Je vous répondrai incessamment sous peu. Ok, donc incessamment means shortly. Sous peu, very soon. So shortly, very soon, we don't need that. But incessamment sous peu sounds formal, sounds nice. It's not. And then some little things like un tri sélectif, which is, I'm convinced, the same idea. The idea is to be accurate. So when I tell you un tri, which means a selection, sélectif, which means selective. So it's a selective selection. Too much. But it sounds, because it's two different words, un tri sélectif, nice. Non, not nice, too much. Un tri ou une sélection. Un choix sélectif. That's fine. But un tri sélectif, non. Le protagoniste principal, non. Because le protagoniste is le personnage principal. So I don't really have to say le protagoniste principal. Le personnage principal. No need. This one, I love it because I say it. Un petit détail. Un petit détail because I think that's a French thing. Un petit détail, un petit café, un petit coucou, un petit voyage, un petit copain, un petit dîner, everything is petit. Because it's, I don't know, it makes it cute to say petit, but it's not cute. You cannot say that. Une petite chose, une petite remarque, mais un petit détail, non. But that's because I think that in France, everything is petit, everything is mignon. Yeah, but sometimes it doesn't work. Petit détail, for example, again, that I used a million times, doesn't work. Then we have un cadeau gratuit. Ça, c'est un peu de la manipulation marketing. Hein. Le cadeau gratuit, c'est to make you feel double happy. But a free present, in the end, they're fooling us, non? C'est un cadeau. It better be free. Otherwise, it's no longer a present. Donc voilà, si pour un produit acheté dans le magasin, nous vous offrons un cadeau gratuit. Non. Un article gratuit. Ça marche. Un produit gratuit, un article gratuit. But the idea of saying un cadeau gratuit doesn't work. And the last one is, it's a bit like le protagoniste principal et le dénouement final. Finalement, le dénouement, c'est the ending of something, no? Especially in a movie or in any kind of story, a case, a conflict that you may have with someone. If you ask, like, et quel a été le dénouement? Like, and how did it end, the whole thing? So if you say le dénouement final, again, it's the final, how was the final ending of this situation? And it's a bit too much. Already done. I'm a bit disappointed. I really enjoyed this lesson. I really like it. With a bit of luck, I managed to transmit that I enjoyed this lesson and you liked it too. And you learned a couple of things, maybe some vocabs and a lot of mistakes to avoid. And maybe even the concept of pleonasm. I don't know, maybe you didn't know it. It's very common. It's I always say that this is a lesson for native and non-native speakers because I know so many French people who make all the aforementioned mistakes. So I guess it's useful for everyone. For myself, I make the petit détail mistake. So no, I really enjoy that. It's little things about the language that, and especially because I'm really convinced that most of the pleonasm that we have in French is because we'd like to sound better or give more information, and we just overwhelm. Like it's too much. But still, it's interesting. I hope you enjoyed. If you'd like some extra practice, you can go on lingoni.com and you'll find some additional exclusive videos, PDF worksheet, podcasts, interactive exercises to practice everything we're seeing together here on YouTube. There is also a pronunciation tool and a lot more. It's an amazing app. That's all I can tell you. Thanks a lot for following us again today. I hope that you had a good time. I did. And I see you very soon for a new one. Bye-bye. Ciao.